It's a warm welcome to the start of the first day of the month in the third quarter of the year. I am Boosting Namaf. I hope you all had a very great weekend, everyone.
And I am Melissa Enoch. We thank you all for joining us on today's edition of Money Moves. It's Monday, the 1st of September.
All right, thank you. Let's get started with a change of leadership at the African Development Bank Group in Cote d'Ivoire. The president of the AfDB Group, or the outgoing president of the AfDB Group, Dr. Akumi Adesina, today steps down after completing a two-term tenure of 10 years. The Nigerian-born head of the DFI was the 8th president of the group, whose focus was on 5 strategic pillars during this tenure. Now let's take a listen to excerpts from his presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, serving as the president of the African Development Bank has been the greatest honor and privilege of my entire professional life. 10 years ago, we embarked on that journey together, a journey of transformative growth for our bank and for our continent. As I often said, the hallmark refrain of what I will miss the most when my tenure as president of the bank ends on Monday, and I'm as at 8:01 a.m. It has never changed. What I may miss the most are you, my exemplary staff. Thank you. You are the bank's greatest asset. Without a shadow of doubt, you are an exemplary showcase of Africa's very best to the world. The truth I've always carried with me every day is that it isn't my own triumph. It's not a personal triumph. It is our collective triumph. Every milestone, every breakthrough, every late night stratagem. Sorry, my vice president, Beth Dunford, is here. Please stand up so that they can see you. And please sit down, we were actually at COP 29. And as I always do, I come into any meeting. It doesn't matter whether we arrive at 12 midnight or not. I call all my vice president, all my staff in. We have to work sometimes to 7 a.m. without stop. And I look at my excellent vice president, Beth Dunford. Our energy level was just dropping as we were going to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And I looked. There she was on the carpet, lying down. And then Asatu, she couldn't join us here today because she's been not feeling very well. She's my CFO and Vice President for Finance. She put on a very dark pair of glasses at about 4 a.m. I said, Asatu. She wasn't responding. And then she turned, but of course you can't see her eyes. She's been sleeping. And the next day, we were going to the events. And I saw my vice president, Beth Dunford, on these benches at the COP 29, sleeping on her bag. And I took a picture. And I said, even renewable energy runs out. But that's because every milestone, every breakthrough, every late night strategy session, every accomplishment has been a symphony of teamwork, hard work, and coordination with our board of directors. It is your work together with the board of directors, your hard work, your professionalism and commitment that has made the African Development Bank sparkle as the only AAA rated financial institution in Africa. And I'm proud that we maintained that in 10 years, despite all the global shocks, COVID, climate, debt distress. We maintain it as the only financial institution in Africa that is a AAA rated institution.
That's the immediate past president of the EFDB Group. Now, in the meantime, the newly elected president of the EFDB Group, Dr. Sidi Ould-Tah, was today formally inaugurated at a ceremony at the Abidjan headquarters of the DFI. The Mauritanian, who was a former president of the Arab Bank for Development in Africa, or BADIA, will be leading the EFDB for the next 5 years, the first of his tenure. Let's take a listen to his inaugural speech.
I intend to expand the bank's partnership to new players, such as sovereign funds, pension fund, and others. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this moment to convey a special message to the staff of the bank group. You are undoubtedly our institution's most valuable resource. Your role is crucial in meeting the expectation of the African people. In the coming days, I intend to organize a town hall and establish regular meetings with you for exchange and consultation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the African Development Bank Group could not aim to be everything to everyone. It has to focus on where it can move the needle most, always with a spirit of partnership. We should work hand in hand with government, private sector, and our international partners, not in isolation, but in synergy, so that together we create a financial framework that serves Africa on its own terms. The challenges of our age, demographies, technology, or climate are universal. But their solution will not be universal unless Africa plays its full part. Our role is to ensure that solutions are shaped by African perspectives, African priorities, and African agency. In my first 100 days, I will focus on 4 urgent priorities. First, listening with intent to our shareholders, to our clients, our partners, and to our exceptional AfDB staff, so that our collective agenda reflects your real-world needs and ambitions. Second, launching a fast-track reform agenda to boost our operational speed, sharpen our execution, and unlock bureaucratic bottlenecks. Third, deepening partnership with both African and global institutions, private sector actors, so we can mobilize capital at scale and deliver lasting impact, especially around the urgency of ADF replenishment and other capital needs. Fourth, accelerating real solutions to expand access to finance, create jobs, empower women and youth, and unlocks African industrial and financial potential for generations to come. We will be the bank that bridges divides between region, between ambitions and execution, between public and private, between urgency and bureaucracy. Let us move forward together with urgency, with unity, and with unwavering accountability. Together, let us transform Africa's promise.
Right, that's Dr. Sidi Uta, the new president of the AfDB, who was inaugurated earlier today. Now let's go to Melissa Enoch, the Archives room here at the FMDQ for more on today's news now. Melissa, how are you?
I'm very well, Bosin. Thank you very much. Let's still stick a little bit with the AfDB change of leadership, an African Development Bank Group video that highlights the commitment of AfDB's former president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, to gender equality in Africa has been named a bronze winner recipient in the 46th Annual Telly Awards and a gold winner in the 2025 ABA Digital Awards. The AfDB's affirmative finance action for women in Africa produced a 75 seconds video to highlight some of President Adesina's gender achievements over the past 10 years, including creation of AFAWA, which has disbursed more than $1.33 billion through 185 financial institutions to women-led businesses in 45 African countries. Let's watch.
Dr. Akinwumi A. Adeshina made advancing gender central to his African Development Bank Group presidency. He helped bring Africa its first global gender summit. He mainstreamed gender strategy across the bank's work, and he designed the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa, an initiative to unlock billions of dollars to grow Africa's women-led businesses. Kenyan honey product producer Pauline Otila is one of those women.
I was able to get a bank that is looking out at supporting women. So when I got the financing, it was a game changer for me.
AFAWA financing helped Otila triple turnover and grow her network of 1,200 bee farmers to more than 10,000.
I'm passionate about the people. Just looking at this little creature, how much more is it able to give out? Then how much more can I give out as well?
So far, AFAWA has mobilized $1.8 billion in financing, disbursed $1 billion through financial institutions in 43 African countries to more than 18,000 women-led small and medium enterprises, and counting.
In other news now, the South African Manufacturing Sentiment Index deteriorated in August to 49.5 points from 50.8 in July, as measured by the independent research of ABSA Bank. The report shows that factory activity remained subdued and both domestic and export demand were sluggish last month. A PMI reading below 50 indicates a contraction, while above 50 signals growth. The ABSA PMI report shows that South African manufacturers' new orders fell sharply to 47.4 points as tariffs hurt exports if they were not directly impacted. The United States hit South Africa with a 30% import tariff last month. In aviation news, South Sudan and Ethiopia have opened talks for a partnership that would see Ethiopian Airlines take a leading role towards the launch of a Juba international carrier. The deal builds on a 2023 Memorandum of Understanding, which indicates that the Ethiopian Airlines will take a 49% stake in the new South Sudan National Airline. Talks between both countries also covered regional trade corridors linking South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. In markets news, the Lusaka Securities Exchange surged 14.3% in August, the strongest monthly gain globally. The advance lifted the Zambia's exchange to a 56% rally since 2025 started in local terms, and by a whopping 84% in US dollar terms, second only to Ghana. The rally on the Lusaka bourse was led by Copperbelt Energy Corporation, now valued around $1.8 billion. Copperbelt reported a bumper 42% earnings per share in the first half. The company's copper output was up 18% and a near 20% climb in the local currency, the kwacha. Finally, on News Now Monday, Egypt plans to issue government treasuries worth a total of 838 billion local pounds in the new month of September. The Ministry of Finance says the package includes 20 treasury bill tenders and 22 bond tenders, which is part of a broader 2.38 trillion Egyptian local debt program for the first quarter of its fiscal year 2025 and 2026. The Treasury Bill's offerings are aimed at financing Egypt's budget deficit and the repayment of a maturing debt. I am Melissa Enoch, and that has been it for News Now. Stick around with us for our market rounds just after the break with Bosin.
The AfCFTA Secretariat invites you to the 2025 IATF Intra-Africa Trade Fair, which will be held from the 4th to the 10th of September in Algeria. The Intra-Africa Trade Fair is a very important platform for creating opportunities for networking, business connectivity, and exhibition of products and services. The IATF is the marketplace for the AfCFTA. A population of 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion, the AfCFTA is the largest free trade area in the world by number of participating countries. Private sector remains central to the success of the AfCFTA. During this edition of the IATF, we hope to surpass the number of $42 billion of trade deals that was concluded in the last edition in Cairo. We expect to convene over 35,000 delegates and showcase more than 2,000 exhibitors. I invite all of you to come to Algiers, bring your products, bring your goods, bring your services, to exhibit them, to create new opportunities for your businesses, market connectivity. We believe the IATF will offer you the opportunity that you need to scale your business. I look forward to seeing all of you in Algeria. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This is the 1st of September, the first trading day in the new month. Let's just get it started. Markets first session across Frontier Africa, a very gentle start on the equity side. And that's where I'm going very quickly. The Nigerian stock market started on a bit of a back foot in 0.41%. That's expected. Everyone has got to adjust to what the new month, a very crucial month in terms of interest rate decision and a lot of market moving data will be. So keep that in mind. So if you look at the dashboard, you find the Nigerian market below the 140,000 reading on Monday, the 1st, 139,722. That headlined the trading day. You looked at the rest of the dashboard, you found the BRVM down by 0.32%. The Nairobi stock market, however, outplayed the rest of the markets we covered, 0.6%, the strongest today among these 8 of the markets that we cover for you. Egyptian market up by just 3 basis points. The Moroccan stock market was down by just a third of just 1 point. This Monday, the South African market was up 0.33%, even as the country's PMI data, according to AfDB, you saw that earlier, fell into contraction at the region, 102,171 on the all share index. The Semdex was down by 0.2%. The Zimbabwe stock market was down 0.02%. So a bit of a mixed Monday across the equity space on the Frontier Africa just to start the new month. But let's move on and check through the government treasury and the 10-year paper. For South African, that's printing 9.585% on Monday, down by 0.21%. Some good news there for South Africa, as it were. However, investors would want yields on government bonds or yields to go higher. The rest were a little bit quiet as we move on from where the numbers were on Friday on investing.com, 1311 GMT today. Let me step into the currencies and just roll that on with the rand trading 0.39 on the dollar, 17.59. All eyes are on the U.S. Fed interest rate decision on the 17th of this month. So we just got about 2 weeks or so with everyone marking down the calendar, as it were. The South African rand would also be looking into what happens to that interest rate by the FOMC. Then the Nigerian currency printing 1,529, slightly below the 1,520 to start the new month. That's 0.34 there for the currency. The CFA franc in West Africa was below the 560 today, 559.43. That's about 0.5. The Kenyan shilling was 129.20, flattish on the US dollar on the day. The Egyptian currency 48.38 to start the new week, according to various sources, 1307 GMT. Now let's go into commodities play, where you've got a whole lot of news coming through and a lot of trading activities, especially for metals. But let's start, as always, with energy prices. You can see the pair of the US West Texas Intermediate and the London Brent going up sharply, more than 1%, 1.24% for the London Brent, 1.31% around 12:54 GMT for the US West Texas Intermediate. This were very sharply higher as President Vladimir Putin was in a meeting with President Narendra Modi of India, as well as Xi Jinping of China, coming together. Of course, all of them looking at how to deal with President Trump's tariff. This is the 1st of September. Some of the tariffs will be coming into effect, and everyone is walking through that particular landmine, as it were, when it comes to tariffs. Main trading partners of the United States not really sure how to play the tariff hand that President Trump has on the table. So oil prices move up. We're now also counting to the next 7 days, September 7, when the big 8 countries within the OPEC group will decide on supply of oil into the market for September, and that decision will be crucial for the rest of the year. But let me get out of the energy space and move into metals. Again, gold today gained very strongly, 0.66%. Of course, these are future prices, 12.6 GMT, $3,539 will fetch you an ounce of gold. So that is the news. Copper is also, however, down. Silver, however, moved today, dropped now slightly above $40 per ounce, according to international figures on Bloomberg earlier today. But look at the dashboard. You see platinum very, very strong, 3.88%, a single big jump for the first day in the new month. That's 1,423. Aluminum was trading around $2,608 an ounce, 1/10% in the red. But let's summarize it all. Let's put it all together in the soft commodity space, with cocoa prices down by 1.32%, $7,710 per metric ton. Coffee is trading very strongly from where we finished off on Friday, on August 29th, the last trading day. As far as the markets here on this side are concerned, 2.28% stronger today. So coffee prices very highly elevated. Cocoa prices are going down a little bit. Cotton trading 1.13%. Look at palm oil, that's 0.2% on the dashboard. That's about 0.25%. In the green territory, 1,021.78. And those are some of the numbers. And finally, you find sugar prices at 16.37. Those numbers around 12.59 GMT for what you call spot prices and future prices. The future prices keep moving, so these are the future prices for those commodities. Of course, you know, the prices will continue to move towards the end of the trading day. But this is just briefing you to start the new week and the new month here on Frontier Africa Reports. This is your Money Moves Monday. Let's get back together tomorrow at the same time and continue from here. From me and the rest of the team here at the FMDQ studios, we thank you for watching. I will see you next time.